Welcome everyone. I'm Dylan Van Bors, and this is All Sports News. Today we'll be going over a new series that we're starting. It's I Bet You Didn't Know Who They Are. And our very first player for this series is Kasen Williams. He's a wide receiver. He played for the Seattle Seahawks, the Cleveland Browns, and the Indianapolis Colts over his career. He is only 27 years old, and he last played in the XFL. And we're gonna go over his story and his whole career, college to the pros. So Kasen Williams is from Washington. He went to Skyline High School, and he is only 6'1" and about 200 pounds. He's not the fastest guy in the world. He only ran a 4.6 40. But, he has some pretty good hands. He's a pretty good returner, and he's just shifty. So he got 2 offers for to play wide receiver, and he ultimately chose Washington University. His career, he played all 4 years there, and, he was pretty solid just through his whole career. Never was a 1,000-yard receiver or anything like that. He had a really good junior year where he had 812 receiving yards, roughly about that. But then his senior year, he was a really good punt and kick returner, but he could just really never get it going in the passing game, only around 450 receiving yards and 4 touchdowns. So ultimately, he went undrafted in 2015, but he was signed by the Cincinnati Bengals practice squad, which he spent I think 4 games out of that season on the practice squad before being released. But ultimately, the hometown Seattle Seahawks picked him up. And he was a preseason legend. Let me just tell you that. Him and Trevon Boykin back in 2016 preseason, neither of them made the team, but man, they were killer. I just remember Kasen Williams going up, had 2 touchdowns, 118 yards in this one game. Gosh, I can't remember who they were playing, but it was just great. He was going up over guys. So sad to not see him make a roster, but I wasn't sad when my Cleveland Browns picked him up. So he spent 2017 with the Cleveland Browns. He was like the 4th wide receiver on the depth chart. Made this one really great catch over a guy. So he's mostly known for just making some crazy catches, but he just really never got a chance to get going. He had 10 catches for 92 yards, so, not the greatest, no touchdowns, wasn't a kick returner. We had Bryce Treggs doing that. So, he didn't really last with us. And in 2018, during the offseason, he got invited to training camp by the Indianapolis Colts and ultimately got cut after the 4th preseason game. He was on the practice squad, however, for that whole season, but never did get brought back up to the NFL roster. Ultimately, I feel like he could have been a very solid number 3 wide receiver with some decent speed, some good return abilities, but he just really never got the chance. He always was just that guy that was hustling, trying to make a roster spot, and never. I feel like if he would have got a chance to start, he would have been great, but he really never did. Because, he was only 6'1", 200 pounds, wasn't the fastest guy, wasn't the tallest guy, but he was just a good football player. He just had a nose for the football. He took all of 2019 off, though, and didn't really try to make an NFL comeback, just kind of took it off to be with his family. And he ended up in 2020 signing with the Seattle Dragons of the XFL. And, the league collapsed and stuff, and he was injured, so he never got to play in the XFL. And everyone was excited to see if he could tear it up in the XFL and maybe get a NFL spot. But personally, I think his NFL career is over. He's 27 years old. Again, not the tallest, not the fastest. He's a decent return man, nothing great, but I really hope that if the XFL starts again, he'll get another shot there and just try to keep his playing career going. But yeah, he's just one of my favorite players. Went to Washington, so he stayed local because he's from Washington. And actually, right here I have his actual stats. In his junior season, he totaled 77 catches for 878 yards and 6 touchdowns. And that is his sophomore season. I'm very sorry. But his senior season, he broke his fibula, and his senior season just was very bad. It was just not a very good season, but he still did get a shot at the NFL. But yeah, as of right now, he has not said anything on whether he wants to come back or if he'll be planning on playing in the XFL, but I really truly hope so, because he's one of my favorite underrated players. He was a lot of fun to watch in the preseason, and I hope he gets one more shot. I don't believe he will, but I really hope so. But anyways, that is all I really have for this video. Comment or text us on our Instagram page who you want us to do for our next I Bet You Didn't Know Who They Were video. We were thinking Khalil Tate from Arizona, or Kelly Bryant from Clemson, or even maybe another local guy, Luke Falk from Washington State, which I bet most of you guys know who he is, but I doubt you know where he went. But anyways, that's gonna do it for this video. Thank you guys for your support on the first video. Let's just keep this rolling. I'm Dylan Van Voorst. Adios, au revoir, and all leaders Zane. We'll be back, folks.